Nikki asks, with songwriting, which is your most memorable and why? How do you write? Do you use a certain place, a pen, quiet, just in your head while driving? And which song would you choose if you could only pick one to play for eternity? All right, Nikki, that's a lot of questions. So okay, let's see how I go. See how I go. I'll tackle it like one at a time. So what is my most memorable? I'd say writing the songs for Redline's Trapped Inside EP is my most memorable songwriting experience so far. And the reason for that was because um, that was the moment that I transitioned from being a riff writer, where I came up with guitar parts and worked with other musos to, create a song, to becoming a songwriter. Um, no longer was I just coming up with guitar riffs, but I had the musical challenge of finding vocal melodies to fit around the songs, to coming up with the words and the messages and the meaning that I wanted to get across inside of the song. All of a sudden, it was a much more holistic view of songwriting compared to what I had done in the past. And the Trapped Inside EP was my big challenge to step up and see if I could do it, see if I could prove to myself that I could become a songwriter and not just a riff writer. So for me, historically throughout my career, that's been my most memorable songwriting experience. I can look back on that now, and some of the lyrics in that were written, I could kind of go, I probably wouldn't write that again now. I do things a little differently, but that's all part of the music journey. You've got to start somewhere, and you just get better by doing. And as you grow and as you get better, you hone your art, you refine what you do. So yeah, as far as memorable songwriting, I'd say Redline's Trapped Inside EP is that for me. Your next question, which is how do I write? All right, I tend to write with the music first. For me, it's like coming up with a musical landscape, and from there, then I can start to bounce vocal ideas off the music and see where it can take me. Um, Songwriting takes a number of different forms. Sometimes you'll be in the practice room and just jamming an idea, and you'll come up with a riff or an idea, and you start to develop that bed of music with the band. Other times, I've literally just come up with a riff in my room, and so what I do is I plug my guitar into my laptop, and I can use my laptop as a creative tool because I can start to put programmed drums in behind the riff and then start to develop it. So I'll come up with like a verse riff and then maybe a chorus riff after that. It allows me to kind of hear where the musical foundation is going. And then when I've got the foundation to a point, that's where I'll, start listening to it over and over, with headphones while I'm driving or, whatever. And I will literally just start vocalizing whatever. I'm not even thinking of lyrics at this point. I'm just, I'll start singing notes, trying to find where that vocal melody can take me. And I'll come up with all sorts of stuff. I'll be singing literal nonsense. I'll just be like verbalizing sounds and noises until I hear something. And it's at that point that it's like, okay, lyrics will start to kind of form out of just the vocal melody phrasing, and that's a starting point. And that's usually how I come up with my vocal ideas. It starts with the musical foundation, then I'll just be kind of singing gibberish, listening along to the music foundation track, and then from there I'll start to hopefully hear like vocals or some words, or it's the seed of which it could form an idea, and they go from there. So I don't know, I mean, everyone has different ways of how they feel inspired to write music, but that tends to be my process, especially when it comes to vocals. Your next question was, do I use a pen or quiet? No, look, the lyrics come after I've got the vocal melody in place. It's very much around the melody, it's around the phrasing, and then I'll agonize over lyrics. Honestly, lyrics are a very challenging thing for me. Because I don't consider myself like a poet where I'll just like write down, these notes or these screeds of, literature into a book and then I pluck that out and put it into a song. No, it's pretty much, it starts with the bed of music. I find the vocal melody, I find the phrasing, and then I try and develop lyrics that fit in with that vocal phrasing and the melody. So and as I said before, I'm usually in the car or I'll be listening to it on my headphones. Just wherever I can listen to it over and over and start to find where the song needs to go. Which song would you choose if you could only pick one to play for eternity? Oh, that's a really, really tough question. And it's a tough question because you have certain favorite songs at the time when you're writing them and when they're new for you. And then what happens is after a while, you get really used to the song. And so which one would I choose for eternity? It would be something which I've had a big say in writing, so with the riffs and with the vocals. Probably something off Redline's Trapped Inside. Yeah, which one? I couldn't say. They're all like my kids, so to speak. And it's like being asked to choose which kid would you prefer to, and then abandon the rest. Is really hard. So unfortunately, I can't quite answer that question. Yeah. So hopefully, that's given you some insight into Chris Yong's songwriting process.